Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak to small cap executives right after important news, and that's what we have today. With us, he's back again, Darren Blaney, President CEO of American Creek Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol AMK. Now, for those of you who don't know the company, a lot of you have been hearing a lot about American Creek over the last couple of weeks. They're the #1 trader on the TSX Venture Exchange about 10 days ago. All this is about Treaty Creek. That's their joint venture with Tudor Gold, whose CEO, Walter Storm, funded Osisko before it was sold off for multiple $billion. Mineralization of Treaty Creek lies within the same system that generated several deposits for Seabridge Gold and Pretium's Brucejack properties that lie immediately southwest. At the end of July, drilling results warranted Tudor bringing on a second drill. And here's what we're going to be talking about. August 8th, Eric Sprott came in with $1 million financing. And last night, a Sunday night special, Eric Sprott came in with another $1 million financing. That's what we're here to talk about. Darren, welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be here, George. Again, yeah, lots of good things to talk about again.
Look, congratulations on this. This is no small feat to have someone with the stature of Eric Sprott come in and make his second investment in you. And it's happened in less than 2 weeks, which isn't something that I've seen before. Let's talk about why he's doing it. Specifically, you have a quote that says, "We welcome Mr. Sprott's further support and additional significant contribution. We appreciate not only his endorsement, but also his enthusiasm." What does it mean, Darren, to have the likes of Eric Sprott making now a second investment in your company in less than 2 weeks? What does it mean to have his support behind you?
Feels great, George. We're thrilled to have Eric's support and endorsement. He obviously believes very strongly in the Treaty Creek project, also in what we've been building at American Creek for quite some time, and it's a strong endorsement, and we're very, very happy to have him involved. Obviously, it's a big deal.
Here's what I would talk to you about. July 19th, he made a very bold statement in a podcast, and forgive me that I'm reading here. It's a drilling monster play, just like the GD Gold play. The last hole they announced, which was last year, was 563 meters of 1.08 gold. It's in the perfect logistical place to develop it. What we're shooting for is to define a 10 or 20 million ounce discovery. That's a pretty bold statement about your Treaty Creek claims. Want to speak to that? Tell everyone who hasn't known about American Creek as to what he's talking about there.
Yeah, one thing about Eric, you don't have to wonder what he's thinking. He speaks his mind. He's a straightforward guy and shoots from the hip. And yeah, we were thrilled to hear that on that podcast. He also said, I'll actually read it so I don't mess it up. There's another quote from that podcast where he said, quote, "So that's the sort of play I like, where, man, if the price of gold goes to 1,700 or 2,000, these plays will look so economically viable and the stock will go up so much. And the analogy I use is Seabridge back in 2000. I remember buying it at $1. Seabridge went from $1 to $35. That's what we're looking for, $1 to $35, set you up for life." End of quote. That's quite the statement. He obviously, thinks we're another Seabridge in the making and we have that kind of potential. So that's exciting stuff.
Now, for everyone at home, Darren, give us a 1-minute overview of Treaty Creek, because there are a lot of new people who are just finding out about American Creek this morning, thanks to last night's press release. And then I'm going to tell everyone at home, to get the details, you've got to watch the interview we did last week with Darren and Kelvin. It's a complete discussion about Treaty Creek, the geology, the drilling, the joint venture with Tudor Gold. But Darren, why don't you go ahead and give them like a 60-second summary so they're wondering what all the excitement's about.
Sure, you bet. So for those new to the story, Treaty Creek is located up in the Golden Triangle in northwest British Columbia. There's 2 drills on the property right now, drilling the Goldstorm zone. The project is a joint venture between American Creek, Tudor Resources, and Tudor Gold. Tudor Gold is a company run by Walter Storm, who was the main financiers of Osisko Gold. They put the Canadian Malartic deposit into production in Eastern Canada, subsequently sold that for about $3.9 billion in 2014. And Walter wants to do it again, and Treaty Creek is the project that he's focusing on. They're drilling right now. The first of the program, the first 3 holes of the program were released. That included the best hole to date, 780 meters of 0.68, I believe it was, of gold. Very wide intersection, really a world-class intersection. And so as the drills turn, we're expecting more results to keep coming out over the several months here. That's what all the excitement's about. People are looking to see what these next holes are going to bring us from Treaty Creek.
And as you talk about the excitement and people are looking, what people are looking for, I also want to kind of go back to finance. That Eric's press release came out on Sunday night, but you put out another press release on Friday for a smaller amount, $760,000. So these amounts almost tell me you're not really going out to raise a ton of money. Is it more strategic money that you're raising? And if that's so, why?
That's exactly what it is. We, I was keeping a tally, but I've since quit of, the money that's been offered to us. We've been offered significant money, over the last 2 to 3 weeks here, especially since Eric's first injection of the first $1 million. That really got the market's attention. And really at this point in time, we don't need to raise a ton of money. We have, again, people can refer back to the previous interview, but we have a fully carried 20% interest on Treaty Creek. We don't have to raise money for Treaty Creek for exploration and development, and we're carried all the way until a production notice is given. So really we have a free ride there. But we do have some other great projects that we also want to advance. As most of your readers, I'm sure, are aware, the last 10 years in the gold market hasn't been a picnic. A very difficult bear market. Money was hard to come by. Our projects were kind of in idle mode, in park mode. And even though they have a lot of potential, we weren't able to really show the market what we have. And so now, because we've got a fully carried ride on Treaty Creek, that allows us to expend money, resources, and so forth on some of these other projects. So we are raising some money. And as you mentioned, it's strategic money. It's more about the relationships right now than it is about the money. Ironically, we've done more trying to talk people down from the number that they offered us to getting them to a lower amount, which still makes it interesting for them, where they can get their foot in the door and we can establish that relationship. And that's been interesting. We're not used to negotiating down. And I still kind of get a chuckle about it, but we're kind of hand picking kind of the best of the best of those entities and relationships that can give us more exposure in the future, that can get us in front of a way wider audience, that have proven their marketing abilities in the past to be able to get a story out that they're involved with. So we're allowing them in for a smaller amount than they would like, really to establish that relationship and give them incentive to go out and tell the story. Ultimately, the goal being to increase shareholder value and get this in front of more eyes, especially the fact that we've got more drill results coming. The more eyes on our story, the better, especially when we're expecting good news. So that's really the strategy. It's about strategic relationships.
And I'm presuming at the same time, not that, because I don't know, outside of Mr. Sprott, I don't know who else are part of these private placements, but I'm presuming the other strategic advantage too is these are the kind of investors who aren't going to be flipping out your stock as soon as the hold periods come off 4 months from now, because they're believers, they're true believers in the long-term potential of what American Creek and for now Treaty Creek is going to bring to them.
Right. We've turned down a significant amount of money for those very reasons. I mean, again, we've got a pretty good idea of who the players are out there in the market, who has a track record, important, that we can see what they've done in the past. Everybody promises you the world, of course. We can do this for you. Please let us in. We can market this. We can take your story over here and so forth. But we're really looking at ones that have a proven track record in the past and allowing them in. And that's been the objective.
Last question. It's also fantastic that the same night, because you put this out on Sunday night, the same night that you put out the news, gold actually hits $1,555, $56.
Yes.
Earlier, you were talking about in Eric's quote, he was saying $1,700 gold, $2,000 gold would do wonders for these things. But even at $1,556, $1,550, are you good at Treaty Creek with those numbers, with those prices?
We are. I mean, that's some of the readers may not be aware of it, but that is actually a new Canadian record again. The Canadian record for gold's been broke, I don't know, 3 times or something in the last week, and that smashed it again Sunday night there. We don't know the exact economics of Treaty Creek yet. It's still early stage. We can kind of gauge by Seabridge's economics, our neighbor across the boundary, but all that'll be determined in the future going forth with feasibility and so forth. But I think it's safe to say there's darn healthy margins in having a gold price where it is, and I think gold has legs. I don't think we're done here.
So last question, even though I said the last one was the last question. We're going into Labor Day long weekend. Typically, this is the time when things are quiet and everyone's thinking that. And American Creek is just continue moving the company along on multiple fronts. What can the investment community watch for? Naturally, the thing they're probably looking for is the next set of drill results. But how's the next 60 days look? Forget about the next 6 months. What's the next 60 days look as everyone starts coming back home and starting taking a look at a serious look at the juniors?
Right. I think your comment about it being summertime and it's anything but dead is a very interesting one. Usually July, August, pretty tough in this market. Everybody, there's a saying, sell in May and go away. Well, that hasn't happened, especially for us this summer. It's booming. I've got bags under my eyes, lack of sleep and so forth. Exciting time, lots of calls coming in. Enough that we're still trying to keep up returning those calls. And so I think that leads into fall. I think we're going to see this momentum just keep rolling through the fall here. And we're very excited about the fall. We've got more drill results coming out. Don't know exactly when, but 2 drills are turning. Like I mentioned before, we only have the first 3 holes out yet really of the program. And so lots of news to come over the next several months. And should be a lot of eyes on it, should be a lot of excitement. So really the best is yet to come, I think.
Well, Darren, thanks for giving us all something to talk about in the week leading up to Labor Day long weekend, because typically there's nothing to talk about, and we're all thinking, I wonder what's going to be coming out of the markets after that. So thanks for being here on Monday morning, because you put out this press release on Sunday night. Thanks for talking to everybody, and good luck. We're looking forward to having. It sounds like we're going to have you back for sure in the next several weeks, a couple of times. So thanks for joining us, and congratulations on this major accomplishment last night.
Thanks, George. Really appreciate it. Yes, look forward to talking to you again. I'm sure we'll have some things to talk about.
You've been watching Darren Blaney. He's President and CEO of American Creek Resources. The company trades on the TSX Venture on the stock symbol AMK. For those of you who aren't familiar with the story but now excited about what you're seeing in the news, get yourself over to Gorecom to do your due diligence. Punch in the company's name or stock symbol. Go to the company's hub. Take a look at the profile where we've summarized everything. Watch last week's interview. Absolutely a must watch. The reaction to that was fantastic. You do yourself a favor, grab a cold beverage. It's a hot summer week, and sit back and watch that. And then use the link to get over to the American Creek Resources website with further details, maps, and everything that you need to know. Don't say you didn't hear about American Creek Resources. You heard about it here. Have a great day. Have a fantastic long weekend. Talk to you soon.